Hello, that was us chattering away off screen. So, welcome. It is Thursday afternoon, June 11th, and we are here for James with Ben and James. Do we have any announcements of stuff that's happening that people need to know about?
Well, as always, we have the Coffee Clutch on Monday at 10 o'clock. And we have hired a new musician,
Yay!
Asher Savini, and he is from Ashland, and he's working on his dissertation in piano, collaborative piano, and I believe he is an expertise in Chopin, I understand. So
nice.
So we're looking forward to having him, and he plays all sorts of music.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, so when we have in-person worship, we'll introduce you.
Yeah. Do you want to take a moment and center us?
Sure. Let's find a restful place. If you're at home, I'm sure you've got a couch or an easy chair somewhere, or maybe you want a straight back chair to hold your back up, your shoulders back. Close your eyes or focus on something that brings you peace. And then breathe in deeply, filling your lungs. Breathe in that fresh air. Hold it for just a second. Then exhale. Breathe in through your mouth. Breathe in deeply. And slowly exhale. We'll do it one more time. Be aware of any place in your body where you're feeling tension. And try to, when you breathe in deep, to also relax your back, your shoulders, your neck. And then exhale, and hope you have found some peace.
I did.
Oh, good.
It's so Ben, it's interesting is the first half of James that you talked about was on controlling your tongue, and that's good because you're much more circumspect in your speech than I am. I'm going to talk about wisdom.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm wiser. But
I'm more circumspect in my speech, but you've got more intelligence, more wisdom in your head.
Well, no, it was interesting because like last week, or last time on Tuesday beforehand when we were talking, you apologized to me for getting the better part of this chapter. But I actually really like talking about wisdom.
Okay.
I once did a 7-week series on the book of Proverbs, which turned out it turned out to be really unwise because 7 weeks in, the only one that was still enjoying it was me. But wisdom is kind of a big deal in the Bible. You mentioned Sophia, and then the Hebrew is Chokmah. And it's not the first time that James has talked about wisdom. In the beginning of our study, you read that verse from James 1, that if anyone lacks wisdom, let them ask of God, who gives generously to all and ungrudgingly, and it will be given to you. Mm-hmm. And then in this passage, which I'm about to read, James takes some time to talk about what the wisdom that comes from above is. So let's read this together. Who is wise and understanding among you? Show by your good life that your works are done by gentleness born of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not be boastful and false to the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, devilish. For where there is envy and selfish ambition, there will also be disorder and wickedness of every kind. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace for those who make peace. Yeah! That's pretty good stuff.
It is. It's beautifully written, too.
Yeah. So in that first verse where it says, who is wise and understanding, sophos and epistemon, wisdom and understanding, that kind of encompasses what we think of when we think of wisdom. A lot of times we say, maybe popularly, that wisdom is not just knowledge but know-how, that it is like practical knowledge. It's knowing how to do stuff. So that's that epistemon, that's that understanding of a practical edge for wisdom. In the ancient world, I think that wisdom is bigger than just a practical outlook, but it's also like how you inhabit the good life. What does it mean to live the good life? And implicit in that is the life of virtue, of growing towards somebody being a person of good character, somebody that is praiseworthy in all that they do. The biblical understanding of it behind Sophia is the Hebrew concept of chokmah, which isn't just, it has all that, the good life stuff, but it's also the with God life. Proverbs 9 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. So I think that when we look at this, it has all of those concepts in it, practical knowledge, self-development, growth to stuff. And these are things that you read a self-help book, they will talk about those two areas a lot of like, what does it mean to execute well, get things done? And what does it mean to develop yourself? And those are good things, right?
Right.
Yeah. But also a wisdom from above means more than that. It is life with God. Mm-hmm. So,
and it's taking on what we think of as a characters for a Christian of Christ: kindness, mm-hmm. like they say here, gentleness, mercy.
Yeah.
To be peaceable, gentle.
Yeah. When I read this time, I was really struck with how much gentleness is held up as a characteristic of wisdom here. Mm-hmm. A couple of times in this passage. And this is contrasted with another sort of wisdom that he describes as bitter envy, full of bitter envy, selfish ambition.
Devilish.
Yeah, unspiritual and devilish. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, let's say there was a politician and they were just super envious of the previous administration, and they had a lot of words that...
And this is just really very esoteric. You're not really like targeting anyone.
No. Of course I would not. I mean, but like, let's say they thought they needed to assert their own selfish ambition every chance they got. Mm. And they were boastful and untruthful. That is described as earthly, unspiritual, and devilish. Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
So, versus the wisdom on the other side, which is pure, peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy, good fruit without a trace of hypocrisy.
Which, in many ways, you're describing a good leader.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody is like that, then they are embodying the kind of thing that we look up as a good leader. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
I was thinking as I read this, there's a Mahatma Gandhi quote, which I learned by way of Martin Luther King Jr., like most of us learned Gandhi. For me, it's enough to know the means. Means and end are convertible terms in my philosophy of life. So Gandhi is saying, if you want peace, you don't get there by fighting for it. You get there by embodying a peaceful way of life, and that gets you to peace. And I think that that's kind of what we see here when we're talking about wisdom from above.
Yeah, I think when we speak of wisdom, the means is the end.
Yeah.
How we live our life is how we want to, what we want to get out of our life. Whereas in the other end, it's all about the ends, what you get.
Yeah.
And you'll do whatever means to get there. Whereas in wisdom, the means is your life. The journey is the life.
So I mean, like, you're both looking at the end, but one doesn't care about the means to get there, and one only cares one cares about both. It says if we want to end up here, we got to embody it. We embody our way to it. So.
I think also in Proverbs and some of the Old Testament, when they talk about those who had wisdom, they aren't as concerned with power as they have authority, because their means, the way they have lived life, they've earned their authority.
Yeah. Wow. That's good, Ben. Who's wise and understanding among you?
Whereas an unwise person can have power, an unwise person doesn't have authority.
Yeah. I fight authority. Authority always wins. John Cougar.
Right. Right, but the older fellow or the older woman in your congregation who has no power in the world, but they have wisdom and they're given authority.
Right. Well, and I think that is really true, is that there are people that when they speak, they might not have any positional authority, they might not, but there is an authority in their character and their life that just exudes. I grew up in a church.
It's earned.
I grew up in a church with there was a woman there that had polio when she was young and spent most of her life in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. But if she talked about her faith, you had this sense that Jesus was right in the room with her all the time. Mm-hmm. And it just came from this place of peaceful, gentle trust.
Right.
So,
I'm thinking about the my high school math teacher that attended my church, and she had power because I was afraid of her and didn't like math.
Yeah, but you were wise to do what she said.
I was wise to do what she said. That's right.
Oh. Well,
thank you.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
So we'll see you guys on Sunday.
On Sunday, or you'll see us.
Yeah, well,
hopefully.
You can comment, and then we'll see you too.
That's true. Give us your prayer requests on Sunday morning.
All right.
Signing off. Good to be with you all.
Bye-bye now.